I'm real angry. Do you know why I'm real angry? Because the Eagles fucking blow hot cock. Hard, thick. I'm also upset because the Chargers can't charge. I'm also upset because the Jets can't fly. And I'm also very, very upset that the Jaguars need to press the reset button. Find out more in a second on the Fumble Forecast. All right, welcome to the Fumble Forecast, everybody. I'm Thomas. This is my boy Mark. We're going to be talking about Week 15 of the NFL with you here. It was a blistering week for many teams this week. I'm just going to come right off the bat on this one, and we're just going to jump right into the Eagles-Seahawks game. The Eagles fucking blew it. They had the golden opportunity served to them on a platinum tray with the Cowboys losing a game to the Bills, and the 49ers are probably going to lose a game to the Ravens. I'm calling it now. If they had won this game, they would have had the chance to actually compete for the NFC conference, the number one seed in the NFC. And there's just no chance now. And now, honestly, it's kind of shaky whether or not we'll even win the division. I think that they will win the division just because I think that the Cowboys have a harder schedule to finish the division out than the Eagles do. But the Eagles, they really fucking blew it hard. And something that I've heard a lot of, even this week, it doesn't make any sense to me, but I've heard it this week too. The Eagles' defense is fine. With Matt Patricia at the helm, they played so unbelievably well. It kind of caught me off guard because going into this week, and Mark can attest to me saying this, I was super concerned about missing Darius Slay and switching the play calling responsibilities to Matt Patricia 48 hours before the game started. That doesn't give him a lot of time to prepare. I wasn't expecting a good game plan. I thought the defense was going to just completely fall flat on their face, but they didn't. I'm hearing tons of fans over here in Philadelphia through like the local radio station and things like that think that the defense is the reason that the Eagles lost this game. The defense is doing bad. James Bradbury's doing poorly. Oh my God, this is so awful. We need to get a new play caller in here. Quite frankly, Matt Patricia did really well, and the hallmark of a great defense is that the Seahawks scored only 20 points. If you lose when the other team only scores 20 points, it's the offense's fault. So there's three possibilities as to why the offense is so ridiculously awful right now. Possibility one, the wide receivers aren't getting any separation. Possibility two, Jalen Hurts can't read a field and doesn't know when to throw the ball, or he's too scared to throw the ball. Or he's just actively making the decision not to throw it to certain people because he doesn't trust them. Or three, the play calling and coaching is fucking horrible. I think it's a little bit of two, and I think it's definitely a lot of three. The reason I say that I think it's definitely a lot of three is because we're starting to see locker room problems evolve out of the Eagles locker room. They're starting to point fingers at each other. Jalen Hurts himself is talking about how he thinks that not everybody on the team is fully committed to winning games. That's kind of pointing the finger at certain members of your team. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But locker room issues like that is literally the coach's responsibility, is to take care of those issues. And quite frankly, it seems like it's getting worse week over week over week over week. And it's kind of painful to watch, especially since I thought that Nick Sirianni, his big strength, because a couple of years ago in his first season, his play calling was so miserably awful that he had to hand off all the play calling responsibilities to his coordinator. Okay, totally fine. So I thought that with that switch, he was saying, hey, I'm more of a culture management. I'm more of a personnel management kind of guy. I'm more of like a trainer and a coach, not the play caller and X's and O's kind of guy. Okay, fine. That's totally okay, as long as you have an offensive coordinator that can actually call plays. But the problem that I'm seeing here is that now that there's locker room problems and it seems like there's starting to be culture problems forming, what the fuck does Nick Sirianni do all day? Like, what does he do? because he's not calling plays. He's obviously not managing the locker room properly, and the personnel are starting to point fingers at each other and perform poorly. What do you do, Nick? What do you do? Another thing is, as a head coach, if you see your offensive coordinator struggling that much with the play calling, why would you not jump in and take the play calling responsibilities over? You have had 2.5 years since you relinquished your play calling responsibilities to figure out how to call plays better, to learn more about calling an offense. And honestly, I see it as a head coach's job to jump in and take those play calling responsibilities from an offensive coordinator when they're floundering around on the sideline like that. They did it with the defense, and they got rid of Sean Desai. He's now up in the press box watching the game. While Matt Patricia calls plays. So why are we saving Brian Johnson from the same fate that Sean Desai just faced? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I understand that he was Jalen Hurts' like personal coach for a while, but I don't give a fuck. Maybe he shouldn't have been. He can't call plays, dude. I'm sorry, he's just not doing it. I actually think that there's a little bit more complicated stuff going on here. I think that Sirianni is trying to help him and teach him how to call plays, but this ain't the season for that, bro. Like a season where you have the potential to win a Super Bowl, and in a game against the Seahawks and the Cowboys and the 49ers, where you have to really buckle down and secure the number 1 seed in the NFC, you don't have time to be teaching an offensive coordinator how to call plays. Just take it and do it. Have him watch. Let him learn from you how to do it. But I actually think, and we've seen it for like 3 weeks in a row now, where the offense will come out of the gate for the first like 1.5 quarters of the game, and they'll rip and ride and look exactly like we expected them to going into the season. And then all of a sudden it just turns off. So what I actually think is happening is that Sirianni is doing all of the first 15, the pre-screen plays. He's designing the offense to jumpstart it at the beginning of the game. And then it's going right to Brian Johnson's pocket of tricks. And the problem is his pocket ain't very deep. So I actually think it's like a tale of two kitties situation here, where Nick Sirianni is calling really good plays to start the games off, but then for some reason trusting Brian Johnson to take over after those scripted plays are over. And I just don't understand what he sees in Brian Johnson's play calling that trusts him enough to do that. It makes no sense to me, and I see it as a huge oversight as to what's going on with your team right now. Like, the number one thing that I expect the most from my head coach is that he has a compass, a sensor built into his head to say where the team is going and what they need at any given time. That is the coach's job, primarily. And I just don't think he has the compass right now. It seems more like the team is leading him rather than he's leading the team. And I really don't like what I'm seeing right now. But to be very clear, I think that Jalen's also missing a lot of targets. Let's go back to possibility. Oh, shit. Possibility 2 here. I didn't mean to flip you guys off. I was trying to do possibility 2.
Yeah,
but
there goes everybody.
Yeah, for real. Have a nice night. Possibility 2 is I really do think that Jalen is missing some of his passes. For example, we've seen it week in and week out. If you review the film at all, I watch film all the goddamn time. But if you watch the film, he does have open receivers and chooses not to throw it to them in certain key moments of the game. I don't know if that's his decision making or if he's just literally under orders from the offensive coordinator to throw it where he tells him to, no matter what. And I mean, there's no way that you could know that without being in the locker room with them while they're game planning. But my assumption is that it's a mix of both. Because you see ones where, like, Devonta Smith is just wide open running down the field and he'll beam it to Dallas Goedert or AJ. Oh, AJ Brown. Thanks. AJ Brown. And it seems like he's doing that just because he's under the orders. Like, he's just following the play. And you saw AJ Brown tweet out very recently after the loss. He tweeted out hey man, as wide receivers and the quarterback and everything, we just follow our routes. We just run our routes and throw the ball. We just catch the ball. So I think he's trying to say, like, we're just running the calls that are played, dude. Like, what do you expect from us? The plays suck, is what I got out of that.
I mean, they do.
They do suck. I mean, you can't expect to send your wide receivers on 20-yard routes every single play and win the football game. Just doesn't make any sense. But I will say, and whoever dialed it up, there was a lot more rushing attempts in this game than there was in the past. I think that the run game finally looked the way that people expected it to. Like, for example, DeAndre Swift, 18 carries, 74 yards. That's what I expect in a game for our starting running back. However, he still had less yards than Jalen Hurts rushing. What is going on, man? I honestly, going into the season, I felt really confident about our running back core, but it just has completely fallen flat.
No, I don't think
I
it's
think that,
falling flat. I think they're just not given. They're not being given the opportunity.
dude, they gave him 18 carries.
Okay. 18
That's plenty
carries.
of touches.
All right, and the plays have him running up the middle into traffic almost every single time.
That's
They
not
don't
true.
move-
He runs a lot of trap plays and counters as well.
Not last night.
2 nights ago. And yeah, they did. He was so a counter is still an inside run. Like, dude, we just don't have the manpower to run a fucking jet sweep. If that's what you're suggesting they do. We just don't have the people to do that. We do not have the personnel that are good enough to do that. The thing is, our O line is extremely good, so they're just leaning on the O line to enable the runner to rush up the field. The problem is, if you play the same starting running back every single game and run his legs into the fucking dirt until there's no tread left on his feet and knees, he's not going to be able to perform like he did at the beginning of the season. Where the fuck is Rashad Penny? Where is he? What's he doing? Is he on the practice squad? Like, what the fuck? Why has he not had a single fucking snap all season? I think he literally had a snap the entire season. Where is he? Why did we go pick him up?
Yeah, that's very strange. We have him, and
Is he just
Yep.
that fucking bad? Because if he's just that fucking bad, why did your talent scouts not pick up on that before you went and got him?
I mean, even so, when in the preseason he was putting on a tear.
Yeah, I know. It just makes no sense.
Mm.
Why are they starting Kenneth Gainwell over Rashad Penny? Like, I'm sorry, but Kenny G is not that guy. And quite frankly, I was really excited for DeAndre Swift coming into this season, but I'm feeling pretty thoroughly disappointed right now. He needs to step it up a notch. Like, I don't know what he's got to do. If he's got to lay the ropes down and jump around them a few times in practice, I don't know. But he's really got to pick it up. I feel like his hole awareness is just not there. Like, when I say hole awareness, I mean the offensive line makes a hole and you can see where the hole is and run through it. I see him bumping into the O lineman constantly. Where is the hole awareness? I mean, that's what all high-level running backs have. Like, if you go and watch Le'Veon Bell when he was on the Steelers in his prime, you literally see him just stand there and wait until the O-line parts the sea for him, and then he just darts through it. That's what made him so great. I want to see that, and the fact that he's not doing that, I'm also going to lay on the offensive coordinator and Nick Sirianni. Why is he not being coached to sit back and wait for the hole to open? What is going on? What is happening? I'm not sure that I trust Sirianni with the reins anymore, to be honest with you. Because right now, we have one of the most star-studded rosters that the Philadelphia Eagles have ever had. Last year, almost this exact team went to the Super Bowl. And I swear to Christ, if I hear one more time about how awful the defense is, I'm going to pop like a tick. They kept them to 20 points. If your offense goes out on the field and only scores 17 points, it is their fault that you have lost the football game. That being said, in the Eagles' defense, both of those interceptions were bullshit. Both of them. The first one, the second one was so ridiculously close that I can understand how they missed that one and call it an interception. Okay, I can live with that call. That's totally fine. That's much closer. But the first one where he throws it into the end zone to Quez Watkins, the defender, Love, literally reaches over, pulls him on his jersey like this at the front of his collar. You see his body go forward. He literally pulled him by his jersey at the collar. How the fuck is that not pass interference? I need to know. Because that was bullshit. And it literally turned the game around. That was literally the difference in the football game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. They need to fix it quick. If they don't win the next 3 games of the season, I'm finished. Like, they're done in the first round of the playoffs. They're dead to me.
Well, they wouldn't. They might be dead to you, but I don't think they'd be done in the first round.
I think they'd lose in the first round if they can't beat Tommy fucking Cutlets. Come on, dude. Look at the 3 teams that they're playing for the rest of the season. Giants, Cardinals, Giants. If they can't win all 3 of those games, they are dead on arrival. Though, there is a bright spot, and I really never thought that this guy would be the one that I was like, oh yes, please, can we have him back? Oh my god. But Avonte Maddox is coming back. And quite frankly, he's one of the best nickelbacks in the entire league. He's fucking amazing. And I'm hoping that they can really add some complexity to the defense with him because he's good. He just gets injured a lot. But I remember a few years ago, Eagles fans were like, cut Maddox, he's stinky. I don't like Maddox. But he might be the saving grace on this football team at this point. I'm not going to lie. Dude, and the thing is, the reason that people are saying the defense has played poorly is because they didn't stop that one deep route touchdown in the second half that gave the Seahawks the lead. And I'm just like, what do you expect them to do? Every single play, just shut them down completely 100% of the plays? That's just unreasonable.
Well, the problem was that if Bradbury had touched him before the ball reached him, they would have just called the PI and they would have been at the 1 yard line anyway.
No, dude, it's not he didn't touch it. He wasn't even fucking close to him. He got torched.
I'm making a joke.
Oh, I see.
I'm making a joke.
There's no jokes in the room of Eagles football.
Because I still really think that those 2 PI calls on Bradbury were bullshit.
Especially the one on that 4th and 2.
That what?
Especially that one in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Whatever you want to say.
Why is it always him?
Yeah. It's just so frustrating. You know what? Fouls and penalties, they happen and there need to be penalties. There have to be consequences for breaking the rules or for bending them or whatever. But the fact that you can't do anything at all to maybe interfere with the ball, and God help you that you do something to interfere. This is the problem. It's not consistent. What is pass interference? What is not? What is offensive pass interference? What is not offensive pass interference? What is false start on a center? What is false start on a center?
Who's just moving his head around. He moved his head. Penalty.
It's just.
I'd rather them call no penalties in the entire game, even when they're obvious, than call a single bogus penalty.
I'm getting to that point too.
Welcome to football, Mark.
It's.
Welcome to the no fun league.
You know what? I get it. They are human. I mean that's
No,
the
they're not.
excuse. That's the excuse. They are human. But the fact that I don't know if it's still, but I remember reading when about Ed Hockley, whatever
Yes.
his name is. That that being a ref wasn't his full-time job. It was technically a part-time job. Why the fuck is this league run with part-timers? Why is it that with all the billions of dollars
Hold
that
up. Let me
the
stop you
NFL
right there. Don't you ever insult Hockley again. I will beat you
No,
with a hammer.
I'm not insulting him. This
I
is
don't
not,
know. You're saying his calls might not be good enough because he's a part-timer.
that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to say is why is there no school for this?
There is.
Why is there no enforcement on the refs?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, it's just how do I put
Because they do go to ref school before they're allowed to become a referee.
I did, yeah, I figure. I don't think I would be really upset if it's like
Some
yes,
bozo.
yes, I would like to be ref for NFL game, please.
No,
give
I'd
me
love it if
money.
they did that and I got it.
Fuck
them Cowboys up.
But it's just like just go back to PI calls. Sometimes you can like touch the side of a player and they won't call it. Sometimes they do. Where's the consistency?
Oh, there's none. That's the biggest problem this season.
That's what I'm bemoaning.
That's the biggest problem with the NFL for the past 10 years. Ever since they made the rules changes that made it so that defenders have to tuck them into a blankie and put a pillow under their head and read them a bedtime story and gently insert the football into their hands for them, it just became a total joke to watch football.
Look, I get that you're upset about what was his name? Vontae?
No, that's actually not what I'm upset about.
But
And his name was Kazi.
Kazi. That was his name. It's like there has to be some safety for the players in the rules.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
But they're only two of fucking.
Yeah, the thing
football. It's American football.
They're supposed to hit each other.
Like the whole point is you big man.
Yeah.
Like
not anymore.
Like, you know what? You want to have a skinny man like Smitty on your team? Great. You know, he can maybe try to be flexible. He can try to finesse. People.
Oh no, Mark, you don't understand. Before all these stupid rules were made, they literally had drills in practice to teach the players how to get hit in a way where they were less likely to get hurt. They don't even bother with that shit anymore because they don't need to. The defenders have to wrap them in a blankie and put a pillow under their head before they can breathe on them.
It's such bullshit.
Like, it used to be a part of the game to be able to stay healthy.
And getting a little bit back to the Eagles, just a little bit.
I don't
Uh,
want to.
I have a no, I have a minor story.
No, I'm just messing with you.
So earlier today, I had to go out and do some things, and I was wearing my jersey, and the and so I was at the grocery store, and one of the managers, he's like, "So how about them Eagles?" And I just turned to him. Yeah, you want to start this?
What
You
is he, a
want to start?
Dolphins fan?
He didn't say nothing, but he like I stopped and we
You
were
should have
talking.
asked him who his team is.
I'm pretty sure. Dolph.
Well, I mean, if he says Dolphins, you can easily say, how did that game go earlier in the season again, bozo?
And he was talking about Dallas, and I'm like, Dallas lost to Buffalo.
Yeah, in a much more humiliating fashion than the Eagles just lost to the Seahawks, by the
And
way.
then I went somewhere else. I was doing something with my dad. Yeah, we were picking up the Christmas ham,
Oh,
and and
ham.
one of the employees, he comes, he drops the ham in front of us, sees the jersey, and
Oh no, we're losing him.
and he's like, "Them boys." I just turned away. I tried to tell my dad to not even buy the ham.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, I mean, now that you've opened the door, I want to talk about the Steelers hit on Michael Pittman the other day. Um, it was definitely a penalty. I actually kind of got lit up on TikTok for that. Well, actually, lit up. More people agreed with me than disagreed with me, but I think the people who agreed with me actually understood what I was trying to say versus the absolute mental, I almost said a bad word, but stupid fucks that were trying to argue with me about this. But that hit that Kazi laid down on Pittman, it was not a dirty hit. It wasn't. It was definitely a penalty. Don't
Mhm.
don't don't even come at me. It was a penalty. There is no arguing about that. But to call him a dirty player for that hit is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
That is stupid.
I agree.
If you think that, you are a little baby man.
No, that
Because, quite frankly, you could tell just from watching it that the guy tried to pull off of the hit. Like, he obviously tried to slow down. And if you count his feet between the receiver catching the ball and him going towards him, he takes a single step before hitting the guy. Totally fine. And I guarantee you, every single one of these motherfuckers who say that you can't do that in today's game, this guy is a dirty player, oh my God, this is unacceptable. Every single one of those people would have probably told you that Brian Dawkins, Ray Lewis, Ronnie Lott, they're all the best players in their position that we've ever seen in the game. Every single hit that they've laid down on a player in their entire careers would have been considered a penalty in today's NFL. Every single one of them. So I don't want to hear you say in the same breath that those are the three best players in their position ever, and then also say that that guy's a dirty player for the way that he hit Michael Pittman when he tried to pull the hit. You're a liar, a scoundrel, a coward, and a hypocrite if you think this way. And I don't think that that's acceptable. Like, what do you say? So here, let's hash this out. What's to stop a wide receiver from every single play swan diving in towards the football to catch it? If the defender's not allowed to touch them at all when they're in the middle of the swan dive, what the fuck are they supposed to do? Just let the guy catch the ball?
Yep, that's what they
That's
gotta
that's
do.
fucking stupid if that's the case. That doesn't make any goddamn sense at all, and the rules need to be changed if that's the case. Because if you're going to allow that kind of nonsense in the NFL, what you're going to have is eventually you're going to get one team that has one or two receivers that are real fucking good. at diving for the ball when they know that they're going to get hit and picking up huge chunks of yardage off of it. And it's going to happen. Change the rules now before that happens. Who'd ever thought of that idea? It's a shame because the NFL is turning into the no fun league straight up. You literally cannot hit people, and it's part of the game. I understand that it increases the chances of people getting hurt, but the risk of getting hurt is what makes it exciting. It's what makes the game the game.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm real sick and tired. I was talking about this on my stream a little bit, but I'm really sick and tired of people comparing wide receivers post 2010 to wide receivers pre 2010. And the reason I say that is because once they changed all these rules that make it ridiculously easy for the offense to get penalties, wide receivers don't have to be afraid anymore. Of course they're going to rack up 1,000+ yards. They don't have to fucking do anything. They can just pretend that they got hit. The defenders have to pull off. They can't actually hit them anymore, and that makes it way easier for wide receivers to play. So I'd like it if people stopped comparing pre-2010 and post-2010 receivers, because it isn't the same game. It's bizarre, and I don't like it. It kind of ruins the game, for me, a little bit at least. So yeah, they need to change the rules and roll back a little bit of these defenseless receiver calls and blah blah blah. Like, there has to be a reasonable assumption that you could get hurt when you get on the football field, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Tired of babying these fucking millionaires. And if you don't like that, don't play. It's that fucking simple. So let's move on to our next topic now that we're done with the Eagles and the horrible rules in the NFL. I actually want to talk about something that I haven't seen anybody talking about all season. All week. The Cardinals put up 29 points against the 49ers defense.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What happened there? What's going on, 49ers? That's a little rough. I mean, they still won. It was a 45-29 game, but how the hell are you going to give up 29 points to the fucking Cardinals? What are you, the Cowboys? Like, Jesus Christ.
It's like the Cardinals are actually the secret giant killers.
The Titan Slayers.
Like, I said it, I fucked us, but now Philadelphia's going to go in there.
Get Sloan.
And get killed.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, so Kyler Murray, he threw 2 interceptions in that game, right? But if you take away the 2 interceptions, the 49ers, it's the 31-29 game, and they barely squeak out a win against the Cardinals.
Yeah. No,
That's rough. To be completely fair, though, and to be very clear, the Cardinals, or the 49ers, didn't start a lot of their defense. A lot of them were injured and off the field, so you know how it is. But back to the Eagles really quick. One more thing. They actually got 2 sacks in this game. Yay!
Hopefully the San Fran defense stays off the field next week. Hopefully they stay off the field for the rest of the season. You know,
I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. I think the Ravens have their number.
I hope so.
I feel it in my balls that the Ravens are going to win that game.
Please, Bird.
Yeah, the final Bird gauntlet. Now that you're segueing me here, man, you're just giving me all the segues. Because I only had that quick point about the 49ers Cardinals.
I got it, brother. Don't worry.
But now that you've segued me, the Ravens are him. They are. They're fucking amazing. I am bobbling right now back and forth between whether or not the Ravens or the Dolphins will make it to the Super Bowl on the AFC side.
I'm gonna
I
be
think
completely honest. I think it's Ravens.
I'm not so sure. Um,
If
I
I
think that they're both going to face off in the AFC
oh,
Championship. I think that that's what it's going to be.
it's going to be it's going to be them together in the championship. There's no
Yeah.
question about that.
Unless the
Yeah.
Texans sneak in real sneaky.
It's going to sneak in.
Dude, what if CJ Stroud wins a Super Bowl in his rookie year? You have to give him MVP, right?
I would be fine.
I would riot in the streets.
I would be fine if CJ Stroud won the Super Bowl.
Well, as long as they don't play against the Eagles, I'm fine with them winning.
Well, yeah, of course.
I want the Eagles to win the bowl that they should have won last year.
I think it's gonna be Baltimore. Now, I'll
I don't
say this.
know.
I'll say this. You know, they didn't have Tyreek this past weekend, and they smacked the Jets.
Oh, they smacked the fuck out of them, but they also
They-
started Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, that was a mistake by the Jets.
Why do they? What?
Okay,
Why
here we
do
go.
they not just start Zach Wilson?
Here we
Was he injured?
Wasn't he? I thought.
He had a concussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, this time you can't really blame them. It's not like he was completely healthy and they sat his ass. Probably would have done just as good sending Rodgers.
He threw 2 interceptions, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
But I mean, like, even though it was the fourth string Jets quarterback, the Miami offense looked complete. They
Oh yeah, they were fine. I tried to tell you
fine.
it wasn't Tyreek.
I didn't think that it was just Tyreek. I just thought that without Tyreek, I was worried about what the passing game would look like. I didn't think that it was going to die down. I just wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure about fly routes and such.
Well,
But, you know-
there is one thing to say about the Dolphins that we learned from this past game. They are actually willing to play Chase Claypool. They didn't get it for no reason.
Yeah, I saw.
He got 2 receptions.
I saw him on one of Jalen Waddle's touchdowns.
Yeah. He got 2 touches
And I
on the
think-
football. They threw it to him twice.
I think Chosen was out there too.
Chosen.
He was the fucker who changed his.
I don't know. I can only see people on the stat sheet that actually caught a ball.
I have the thing in here.
But like, dude, the thing, do you know what the Dolphins showed us this week? That they have that bend but don't break mentality. Like Tyreek Hill's out. Okay, Jalen Waddle, here you go, 142 yards, easy, no problems. Tyreek Hill's out. All right, Mustard puts 2 touchdowns in the end zone. All right, ball's in your court. Like, I think that the Dolphins and Ravens would be an amazing AFC Championship game that we will definitely be covering live on my stream.
Robbie Anderson.
Oh, Robbie, he's on the Dolphins now?
Yeah.
I mean, Robbie Anderson was really good for a while.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
never like great, but he was pretty good. But yeah, I'm pretty high on the Dolphins and I'm really high on the Ravens. But the thing is, The Ravens, they went into Jacksonville and they delivered. Like, they smacked them around like nobody's business. I don't even know if the Jacksonville Jaguars need to bother showing up to work next week. Dude, they put up a total of 7 points on the Baltimore Ravens. That's an
Yeah.
AFC rival who you might face in the playoffs. What are you doing? You gotta win that game, especially with the Texans breathing down your neck like they are. Dude, it's exactly what I said to you, and you didn't believe me, Mark. I said, watch, the Texans are gonna take the division. That is what I said to you.
I
And they
never
were down 3 games at the time behind the Jaguars. And you said, yeah, I don't know about that one. I'd like it, but I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
I
okay.
knew about that one.
Jeez.
I,
Oh,
I'm pretty high on the Texans, man. I want to see them slip in and have a playoff berth. But the AFC is looking pretty competitive. I don't know what's going on there. And the poor Broncos. Broncos country lets slide is what they said this week. No good. Now they're 7-7. They're very unlikely to even get a wild card spot. What a shame and a sham. The Steelers, by the way, might have gotten knocked out of playoff contention as well. At 7-7, that's just not going to cut the mustard in the AFC this season. It's not like they're the NFC South, so they kind of got scrubbed.
I mean, Denver has an easy game against the Patriots this week. And then they have the Chargers and the Raiders.
Oh, dude. That's another thing that we need to talk about, dude. What the fuck is wrong with the Chargers?
Well,
What happened?
what was wrong been removed.
No, I think there's more to it than just Staley.
I
So,
mean,
for those of you who don't know, the head coach of the Chargers, Brandon Staley, was fired after the horrific display against the Raiders where they gutted the Chargers 63-21. And those 21 are a total joke that was scored in garbage time. The real score of this football game is 63-7. Um, I all right, so first question. How the fuck are the Raiders 6-8 if they can do that to somebody?
well, I don't think it's that they could do that to somebody. I think it's because they could do it to the Chargers.
Yeah, but there's a huge difference between like 42 points, 45 points, 49 points even, and 63. You don't
Yeah.
just score 63 points against anybody.
So
What did they hop them up with this game? Dude, their quarters went 21-21, 14-7. That's what this box score in the quarters is for the Raiders. Who the fuck scores 21 points at 2 quarters? I'm just saying, man, everybody is lucky that the Raiders are run by complete morons. Because if they did this every week, you'd be crying. And that Aiden O'Connell kid, 4 touchdowns, 248 yards passing. What the hell is that? Where has he been hiding?
I just do wonder, right? Is it because it's a division rivalry that Brandon Staley
They
was
always
fired?
do play harder.
No, that Brandon Staley was fired because
Oh, no.
because let's think about a very similar game with like that game.
The Dolphins and Broncos.
Dolphins Broncos.
I was thinking the same thing.
What was the difference there? Is it just that Staley is an asshole? Because the Broncos at that time were, when they lost to the Dolphins, were 0-3. They got a win next week against the Bears, and then they lost to the Jets and Chiefs. After that,
I don't
why
know.
why was I don't know the coach's name for the Broncos,
Oh, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. Why was he not fired? I mean, obviously, great. He did it like after the
Because
Chiefs
his team is
lost.
7-7,
They're 7-7 now, but
and he has a proven track record of greatness.
I get. I mean, I don't know about it, so. Um, I mean, that 5-week win streak, pretty good.
I
Pretty,
mean, yeah, you can't bitch about a 5-win streak. I mean, what do you mean?
pretty
That's
good.
about as good as it gets normally.
Best team in the AFC.
All right, yeah, Broncos country, let's slide.
Woo.
But no, in all seriousness, though, where the fuck has Aiden O'Connell been hiding the whole season? Haven't they only let him? Yeah, they've only let him play in 3 games this season. Why the fuck was Garoppolo even on the roster if you had this guy? And he's a rookie. He does look like that 15-year-old that cares way too much about the Confederate flag, but he you know the one that I'm talking about in high school, the one that just
Yeah, not
continuously talks about how great the South is, even though he doesn't even live in the South. That's
way
him.
down south in the land of traitors.
Yeah, exactly. He's that kid who lives in the Northeast and thinks he's a Confederate. That's what he looks like. But god damn, can that boy throw a football? That's just he just really he just stuck his cock right in their ass. I just god damn. Oh, like that was one of the best performances by a quarterback all season, what he threw up against the Chargers. But I will say, I am going to take a little knock here. I think that Brandon Staley might have known he was getting fired after the game, regardless of if they won or not. So I think that he might have just completely tanked it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I am curious. Why? How are the Chargers not from?
Not a what?
How are the Chargers not eliminated from playoff contention right now?
Because if all of the teams that are 8-6 lose every game for the rest of the season, and they win every game for the rest of the season, they can clinch a wild card.
But then why is Tennessee eliminated?
Because they can't win no matter what. They lose all the tiebreakers.
Yeah, fuck you,
Me?
Tennessee.
Oh, no, I like Tennessee. Will Levis is going to be a superstar. I'm telling you.
Fuck.
And honestly, so now that we're on the topic, I feel the abject
You feel
need.
the Mayo coming in?
No. I feel the abject need to talk about the Jaguars. That's where I was originally at here. They're on a 3-loss streak right now. They went from 8-3 to 8-6 in the course of only 3 weeks. That is a huge slip. I'm going to do it. Mark, you can't stop me. I'm doing it. I'm pressing the fraud button. The Jaguars are fucking frauds. I have been saying it all season long, and I have been proven right all season long. They are not the team that Duval wishes that they were. They aren't. They have a long way to go before they are a real competitor in the AFC. They just get absolutely knob slobbered every time they play a decent team. Every time. And I'm tired of them standing behind their quarterback and going, "Oh, but Trevor Lawrence is so good." He's not Patrick Mahomes. You can't just pay one player on the Jaguars because the average player on the Jaguars is dog water. It doesn't matter how good he is. It does not matter how good Trevor Lawrence is. If all of the other players are dog water.
Yeah.
Like, dude, why why is it that none of his receivers ever go over 120 yards in any given week? And it certainly ain't because he's not giving them the ball. They just can't fucking catch. And to be honest with you, in this past week, I'm starting to think that Trevor Lawrence can't throw. The man went 25 for 43. My first question is, why the fuck is he throwing the ball so many times in this game? My second question is, why the fuck is nobody catching the ball when he's throwing it that many times this game? What is happening? I'm telling you, it's a disaster down in Jacksonville right now. If I had to guess, hold on. It's buzzing in from the streets of Jacksonville. The city is on fire.
Oh, so that was what that smell was when we passed it.
Yeah, they're just, dude. And quite frankly, I'm gonna call it. They're gonna struggle against the Panthers and the Titans in the last 2 games of the season. They're gonna struggle, and it's not gonna be pretty. And I actually think that the Buccaneers might beat them next week. Buccaneers ain't good. Panthers are god awful. And the Titans are god awful. But there ain't no fucking chance. Or there is a greater than 0% chance that the Buccaneers beat them. I wouldn't be surprised, quite frankly, if the Buccaneers beat them. So yeah, that's my wrap on the Jaguars. I think that in the offseason, they need to really think about bolstering their defense up, because it wasn't happening this season, mate. It was bad. You have to step up on defense. Like, they have Jadeveon Clowney, and he's really good. They have Kyle Van Noy, who's all right. They got some good players, but they don't have the most important thing. One guy that is just way better than most players. You have to have that. Particularly for them, I would recommend some kind of like linebacker of some kind. They need to pick one up, especially in the case of Jadeveon Clowney. He's going to be retiring soon, my dude. He's 30 years old. You've got to bring in his replacement. You've got to do it soon so that he can teach them how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend drafting a middle linebacker in the offseason if I'm Jacksonville. But to be honest with you, I'm hoping that they give their pick to the Eagles so that we can select a middle linebacker. Because the Eagles, Jesus fucking Christ, they need a linebacker so bad. Oh my God. It's so miserable to watch the Eagles linebacker core. So what do you got this week, Marky?
I mean, I don't got a lot.
I kind of popped off.
I mean, you did, but we kind of touched on.
I went with the flow, brother.
Games that really would have wanted to comment on. The only thing I have just like just some minor things to note. Danny DeVito's loss to New Orleans, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, the one where the New Orleans players insulted his race over and over again.
Like, great for the
You're not allowed to do this. That's appropriation.
Great for the Eagles. Sucks for Danny DeVito there.
Tommy Cutlets.
Carolina beating Atlanta.
I love them.
Like, I'm sorry, Bijan Robinson.
Oh, who gives a shit?
Fuck.
Who gives a flying fuck what happened in the Panthers and Falcons? Did people watch that game? No, they didn't. They literally, I don't know if you saw the shots from inside the stadium, Mark, but there were so few people in the stadium making noise that the players could actually hear individual people talking to them. That's how few people were there in the stands. They were literally selling the tickets for 45 cents, and the stadium was still empty.
And then another road trip story.
Wait, hold on, really quick. I actually looked into it. The gas and ticket to go to that last week's Panthers game would have been cheaper than me just driving to South Philly to watch an Eagles game and buy a ticket. It would have been cheaper for me to drive all the way down to Carolina. All right, now do your tricks.
And so, my dad and I, we were stopped for the night, and outside
Tales
of
from the road.
yeah, outside of the hotel was Jimmy John.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, and so my dad's like, "Oh, let's go try it." I'm like, okay.
has
So,
he never had Jimmy John's?
no, it's
Oh,
not.
well, you warned him.
Yeah, and so we went. Uh, we got our sandwiches, but as we're wrapping up, this guy comes.
Oh, fuck.
This guy comes in with a buffalo sweater, and I'm
Okay.
wearing and I'm wearing my black uh, Eagles logo T-shirt. So I'm sitting like my back's to the door, so obviously he doesn't see the design. So I'm sitting there. I see him. I point to my dad. I'm like, well, look, it's it's the guys who beat Dallas this weekend. Like I should go say thank you to him as a joke. And then as we're getting up, like my dad like turns away from the door to the restaurant, going to the guy, and I'm like, oh my god, no. And so he goes, so I forget exactly what he says, but he points me out with the Eagles, and
He
I
wanted to say thank you.
and I'm like, and so playing along, I'm like, hey, thanks, man, thanks for doing that. And this guy, he just said, you're welcome. I mean, it doesn't go both ways, right?
Yeah, well, true. I mean, we did kind of fuck their season up. I don't blame him. All right, so something that I do want to talk about
It's
to
6.
end this week.
Okay.
What?
I'm just reminding it's 6-1.
Oh, I know. This is the last segment for the for this week. We're gonna go ahead and skip power rankings because at this
That's
point in the season they're kind of irrelevant, and
Yep.
we're gonna just jump right into who do we think is going to be in the NFC Championship and AFC Championship games.
Well, I mean, we already said who we think AFC.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Dolphins and the Ravens. But did you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so Dolphins and Ravens we have
Whoever
locked in for the AFC.
if one of them doesn't get into the championship, it's a fluke. It was stolen. Whatever you
Yeah,
want to
I don't know
say.
about that.
Whatever you
There's some
want to
pretty
say.
damn good teams in the AFC right now. So I mean, you never know
Fuck
when
them all.
Jake Browning is going to sneak up on you. Dude, he looks
Um,
good.
no, I agree. As far as the NFC goes, I mean, San Francisco's there.
Yeah, 100%. I'd be shocked if they
It's
got knocked out.
it's really a question of if it's going to be Dallas or us.
Dallas or
I
who?
think or us.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles will be in the NFC with the 49ers again for the rematch. Uh-oh. It looks like
I
we lost the
sneaking.
marquee.
Oh no, I'm back. Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. I
What
do
were you saying?
think I do think the Lions might be able to sneak in. So
Nah.
like if I had to give it like percentage, right? Uh Eagles would probably be like 60-ish%. Uh Dallas 30%, Lions 10%.
I actually think that the Lions are going to beat the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs, and then they're going to jump up, and the Lions are going to play us to go to the NFC Championship, and we're going to kick their ass. That's what I think is going to happen, at least. All right. So now it's the time of the week that everyone waits for, the games of the week. There are two extremely obvious games of the week this week. Let's see if Mark can guess which ones they are.
Well, let's see. Um Da-da-da, da-da-da,
Eh,
da. I see Dallas in Miami
That's one
and
of the two.
Baltimore in San
Those
Francisco.
are the two games. Ding, 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 ding. You win. Nothing.
Oh, come on, man. Of course, it was. Those are the two. Those
Though
are.
I am going to throw a wrench in there. I think that the Bengals, Steelers, and Lions, Vikings are going to be some good ass games. However, I think the Giants, Eagles is going to be the biggest trash can fucking game you've ever watched in your entire life. Not recommended. But I am happy that it's at 4:30 on Cribus. The perfect time for a football game.
Yeah.
It couldn't be better, honestly. So yeah. All right, well, that's all we got for this week of the Fumble Forecast. Thanks for joining us.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is all we have for the rest of the year for the Fumble Forecast.
Oh, really?
I can't record next.
Oh, why?
I'm gonna be moving between Miami and Philly.
Oh,
Tuesday
for
and
just
Wednesday.
next week though, right?
Yeah, just next week.
Oh, well, you said that's it for the year. Oh, you meant the calendar year.
Yeah, the calendar year.
Oh, dude, you confused the shit out of me. Viewers, he's just being silly. It's only next week.
What?
It's only next week that you won't be here. Because you said for the rest of the year, so I'm thinking like the rest of the football season.
Well, we record on Tuesdays usually. And
You're not understanding what I'm saying to you.
Okay, well, whatever. So, just thank you for watching. Have a happy Christmas or whatever other holiday you.
I might just do
celebrate.
a fumble forecast myself next week if you're not available. We have to give the fans what they want.
Maybe
a solo forecast.
Maybe you have Tom ranting by himself.
True. It's very possible. I love to rant.
Oh, you know what you could do?
Oh, no. I don't like that idea already.
You could stream it.
Oh, I guess, yeah, I could, but, I mean, that wouldn't go on the Fumble Forecast channel.
Well,
I guess I could always take it right on there, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
I'll call it the solo forecast. And there might come a day where you need to do a solo forecast. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Indeed, but
thanks for joining us for week 15 of the Fumble Forecast. We always appreciate your presence. Remember to hit that follow button, that subscribe button, and to find us wherever you find your favorite podcasts. We're there. We're everywhere, and we're here to stay. So come and check us out. And we're kind of I've been planning some stuff for once the off season starts, like what we'll do. I don't think we'll be uploading every single week during the off season, but I think we will be doing some special like things every now and then when like a big news happens or like the draft, for example, occurs. But yeah, so have a nice night. Remember that we love each and every single one of yous, and you gotta hit that subscribe button and tell your friends about the goddamn podcast. I'm telling you. It's great. They're going to love you. They're going to actually pretend that they like you a little. And, yeah, have a nice night, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you all.